Ty Cobb. The name alone conjures images of ferocious intensity, unparalleled skill, and a relentless drive that etched him into baseball's foundation. Known as the Georgia Peach, Cobb's career spanned an era of significant change for the sport, establishing records that would stand for decades. Yet, his legacy is not merely one of statistical dominance. It is a complex tapestry woven with threads of controversy, a challenging personality, and a life lived with the same ruthless competitive edge off the field as on it. This is the story of Ty Cobb beyond the cheers, focusing on his impactful life after retirement, his business acumen, his struggle for an unblemished place in history, and how modern eyes now view his complicated genius. Before we delve into his post-career life, it's essential to acknowledge the sheer magnitude of Ty Cobb's playing career. From 1905 to 1928, primarily with the Detroit Tigers, Cobb terrorized pitchers and fielders alike. He was a master of the hit and run, a cunning base stealer, and an infuriatingly effective hitter. His statistical achievements, including a career batting average of .366 and 12 batting titles, speak to a player operating on a different plane. This on-field genius, however, would become the foundation upon which his intricate off-field persona and later reassessments would forever be debated. In 1928, after 24 seasons, Ty Cobb retired from professional baseball, closing a chapter on one of the most remarkable playing careers ever seen. Many athletes struggle with the transition away from the spotlight, but Cobb, ever the shrewd strategist, approached retirement with the same calculative foresight he displayed on the diamond. He had quietly laid the groundwork for a new kind of legacy, one that diverged sharply from the dusty ballfields and roaring crowds. His focus shifted from stolen bases to securing financial independence, demonstrating a different facet of his competitive drive that would soon yield extraordinary results. Perhaps the most renowned aspect of Ty Cobb's post-retirement life, and certainly his most lucrative, was his early investment in the Coca-Cola Company. While still an active player, Cobb was advised by the company's president, Asa Candler, to purchase stock in the burgeoning soft drink giant. Cobb bought shares for what would now be considered a pittance, holding on to them for decades. This decision was a masterstroke, transforming his considerable baseball earnings into an immense fortune that far outstripped his playing salary and cemented his status as one of the wealthiest athletes of his time, or any time. The Coca-Cola investment alone was enough to ensure Ty Cobb's financial independence, but it was far from his only venture. He diversified his portfolio, investing in timberland, cotton farms, and even mineral springs, demonstrating a keen understanding of various industries. By the time of his death, his net worth was estimated to be between $10 million and $12 million, a staggering sum for the mid-20th century, equivalent to hundreds of millions in today's currency. This financial success showcased a ruthlessness and ambition that paralleled his on-field persona, but channeled into the world of finance. Cobb's post-baseball identity was not solely defined by his wealth. He remained a visible, albeit often controversial, figure. His business acumen gave him a platform and an influence far beyond what most retired athletes could ever dream of. This continued presence in the public eye, alongside his financial success, underscored his persistent desire for control and recognition, a drive that never truly faded after he hung up his cleats. He was no longer just a player, he was a capitalist, a landowner, and a public personality, meticulously cultivating his new role in society. Even during his playing career, Ty Cobb's fierce competitiveness often spilled over into behavior that was considered extreme, even by the rough-and-tumble standards of early baseball. Stories of altercations with opponents, umpires, and even fans were widespread. This darker aspect of his personality didn't disappear with retirement, it merely shifted contexts. These controversies, though often overshadowed by his on-field brilliance at the time, would later become central to the reassessment of his legacy, posing difficult questions about how his off-field actions should weigh against his athletic achievements when considering his place in history. In 1936, just 8 years after his retirement, baseball established its pantheon, the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. The creation of the hall was a momentous occasion, an effort to enshrine the sport's greatest legends and ensure their immortality. The inaugural class was to set the standard, and the selection process involved voting by baseball writers. For Ty Cobb, this represented a crucial juncture in his post-playing career, a formal recognition, by those who had witnessed his genius firsthand, that his on-field accomplishments were truly unmatched. It was his chance to receive baseball's ultimate validation. When the votes for the inaugural Hall of Fame class were tallied, Ty Cobb emerged as the leading vote-getter, securing 222 out of a possible 226 votes, or 98.2%. This put him ahead of other baseball titans like Babe Ruth and Honus Wagner. The near-unanimous selection clearly reflected the profound respect and awe baseball writers had for his playing abilities. While often mistakenly remembered as the only player to receive 100% of the vote until Mariano Rivera, his actual vote total was still a resounding testament to his on-field dominance, solidifying his position as the premier player of his era, despite his well-known contentious nature. With his induction into the Hall of Fame, Ty Cobb's baseball legacy seemed unequivocally cemented. For many, this recognition would be the culmination of a career, a peaceful end. Yet, for Cobb, his post-Hall of Fame years were anything but quiet. He continued to observe the game critically, often commenting on what he perceived as its declining standards. His wealth provided him with leisure, but his personality remained sharp, and his opinions often cutting. This period saw him grappling with his own historical narrative, attempting to shape how he would be remembered, even as the first whispers of a more critical evaluation of his character began to surface. In his later years, Ty Cobb also engaged in significant philanthropic endeavors. In 1953, he established the Ty Cobb Educational Fund, which provided scholarships to Georgia residents for medical training. Later, this evolved into the Ty Cobb Educational Foundation, supporting students pursuing higher education, primarily in medicine. This act of generosity, fueled by his vast business fortune, represented a deliberate attempt to contribute positively to society and, perhaps, to temper his public image. It was a testament to his complex character, a man capable of great individual ferocity but also profound civic responsibility. Ty Cobb passed away in July 1961 at the age of 74. His death marked the end of an era, and initial obituaries predictably highlighted his unparalleled achievements on the baseball field. His records, his fiery spirit, and his status as an icon were universally lauded. However, even in the immediate aftermath, there were hints of the complexity that would come to define his legacy. The small attendance at his funeral, notably lacking many prominent baseball figures, spoke volumes. It suggested that even those who admired his skill kept a certain distance from the man himself, a silent acknowledgement of his often difficult personal legacy. The seeds of a deeper reassessment of Ty Cobb's character began to sprout shortly after his death. Controversial biographies, particularly one written by sports writer L. Stump, who spent time with Cobb near the end of his life, painted a far less flattering portrait. These accounts revealed a man plagued by bitterness, racism, and a profound loneliness. While the accuracy and sensationalism of some claims in these biographies have been debated, they undeniably forced baseball fans and historians to confront a troubling personal legacy that extended far beyond aggressive play and temper tantrums. The narrative of the pure baseball hero started to crack. Central to the troubling personal legacy of Ty Cobb are the numerous accusations of racism and violence. Reports from teammates, opponents, and later biographers detailed racial slurs, physical assaults on black individuals, and a general disdain for those he perceived as inferior. These accounts, particularly in the context of the civil rights movement and later social awakenings, became impossible to ignore. His actions represented a stark contrast to the burgeoning ideals of sportsmanship and equality, forcing a painful re-evaluation of how a figure of such athletic brilliance could simultaneously embody such profound social failings. Despite the uncomfortable truths about his personal life, Ty Cobb's statistical achievements remain unassailable. His .366 career batting average is still the highest in MLB history. His 4,189 hits stood as the record for decades, as did his 892 stolen bases. Modern analytics and advanced metrics continue to underscore his incredible productivity and sustained excellence over an unprecedented period. There is simply no denying the on-field genius that earned him his place in Cooperstown. The challenge, then, becomes how to hold these facts in tension with the darker aspects of his character, rather than allowing one to erase the other. Modern baseball's reassessment of Ty Cobb is a continuous effort to reconcile the two starkly different narratives surrounding him, the undisputed athletic titan and the deeply flawed, often abhorrent, individual. It forces us to ask whether the brilliance of a player on the field can be separated from the character of the man off it. For many, Cobb embodies the inherent tension in celebrating historical figures who achieved greatness but held views or committed acts now widely condemned. The uncomfortable truth is that both realities coexist, and ignoring one diminishes the complete picture of his legacy. Understanding Ty Cobb's legacy also requires acknowledging the historical context of his era. The early 20th century was a period of rampant racism and social inequality, and Cobb's behavior, while extreme, was in some ways a product of his time. However, modern reassessments emphasize that context is not absolution. While we can understand the societal norms, we can also condemn actions that violate universal ethical principles. This nuanced approach allows for a more complete understanding of history, recognizing the complexities of individual responsibility within a broader societal framework, and refusing to sanitize the past. Despite the controversies, Ty Cobb's statistical records continue to speak volumes. His career batting average has never been topped, his 2,246 runs scored still ranks fourth, and his 897 stolen bases are sixth all-time. These numbers force modern baseball to continue to include him in discussions of the greatest players of all time. The question isn't whether he was a great player, but how that greatness should be presented and discussed in light of his off-field actions. He remains a benchmark of competitive excellence, a testament to what a human being can achieve physically and mentally, even if morally compromised. The ongoing re-evaluation of Ty Cobb exemplifies a broader shift in how we interpret historical figures. Modern scholarship moves beyond simplistic hero or villain narratives, seeking instead a more holistic understanding that encompasses both triumphs and failures. Cobb's story, with its layers of incredible achievement, shrewd business success, and deeply troubling personal conduct, serves as a potent case study. It encourages us to look critically at the past, to celebrate greatness where it exists, but also to acknowledge and learn from the imperfections that are an indelible part of the human story, especially within the public sphere. Ty Cobb's legacy is ultimately a study in contradiction. He retired as baseball's wealthiest player, a testament to his ambition and business acumen beyond the field. He was overwhelmingly voted into the inaugural Hall of Fame, a recognition of his unparalleled on-field genius. Yet, these achievements are forever shadowed by a troubling personal legacy marked by racism and violence, which continues to challenge modern perceptions. Cobb forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about greatness and morality. His story remains a vital, complex part of baseball history, not just for his incredible records, but for the ongoing dialogue it sparks about what we choose to celebrate, and how we choose to remember.